Welcome back to the Rebellion, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shane Hazel, your host. Along with me today, I have a special guest in return for his three-peat to the Rebellion, the one and only Brett Hazel. How are you, buddy?
I am fantastic.
For those of you guys might just be joining the show for the first time, Brett's my brother. And, you know, we're in lockdown now. Day 5, Corona outbreak. Yeah, Brett and I, we live close. I'm fortunate enough to have my brother who, hey, happy birthday, by the way. 39, man.
Woo!
Woo!
I made it. I made it.
It's crazy, right?
It's the dumbest thing ever. 39 years old.
You turned 39. I was like, damn it. My little brother is almost 40 now. And so I'm sure some of you guys are doing some math going, oh, boy, Shane just turned 40. Brett's just turning 39. Those guys are close. Yeah, we're about 12 months and 19 days given the leap year in between us. And that's pretty close.
That's really close.
Mom and Dad, I would say weren't messing around, but apparently they were. Everybody's busy. Everybody's on lockdown. You know, it was one of those things where I asked Brett to come in today. I think there's some finer points to what's going on in the world right now, some silver linings and things like that, and some perspective from a family man that I hope, you know, today we can kind of pass on to you guys. You're fairly stoic. I'm about as
I don't know about that.
Stoic as they get. I mean, yeah, we get angry and pissed about, you know, what we, you know, would like to see happen in the world and what doesn't happen in the world and all that fun stuff. But in terms of what's going on in daily life now, because this will air on Monday, it's Friday afternoon when we're recording this, and so the daily life has changed for a lot of people, man. And I think you guys are pretty typical. I mean, you and your wife both work. You got kids who are no longer going to government indoctrination.
Thank God.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously changed your schedule. It's maybe thrown a wrench into some things. It's probably made you worry a little bit more about, you know, where they're at, what they're doing, and all that kind of stuff. We won't have to get into specifics on some of it, but the whole world right now is kind of freaking out and locking down. You and I were talking a lot the other day, like we do. You know, just kind of throwing some things around, and you know, because I have you here, and I like talking conspiracy stuff. Like
Me too.
I think it's super entertaining, man. I don't know, you know, I'm not saying that this is what's happening, but you said something the other day about Corona that I thought was really interesting in terms of kind of the back and forthness of, I don't know, China and the U.S. and do you want to tell that to
sure.
Again? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Come on.
I would just start off by saying it seems like we've got two superpowers competing for everything at this point. We buy all their stuff, and they need us to buy all their stuff. We're in debt up to eyeballs.
Your great-grandchildren's eyeballs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's disgusting how much money we owe them and can't pay, and we just keep printing money. And I feel like it might be one of those things where it's a possibility that they said, hey, I tell you what, here's what we're going to do. We're going to collect now, or we're going to release this. And it doesn't have to be anything serious. We'll just mass hysteria and see what happens. And I feel like it kind of just coincided perfectly with all of the revolution going on over there. And
you mean with the guys over in Hong Kong?
Yes.
Yeah, Hong Kong.
That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah, this got pretty quiet pretty quick over there, didn't it?
Yeah. What Hong Kong?
What Hong Kong?
Right.
Exactly right.
Oh, nothing to see. Watch this. Virus. Right. Wag that dog.
That's right. That Wuhan flu.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff I could say about it, but
so your contention, and I say contention, in the realm of possibility, China's looking to the U.S. to say, hey, listen, guys, you owe us some money, right?
Like, you owe us a lot of damn money.
And by
money
the way,
that you're printing off.
By the way, we make everything that your company or your company, not
CEO, President of the United States. Yes,
Freudian slip. It's still accurate, I guess. That your country
consumes.
And a ton of it. So you're saying, hey, we're not really interested in these silly trade deals, Mr. Trump. And by the way, when you have control over all means of production and all citizens, and oh, by the way, we can drop buildings on entire, like an entire building filled with people with the Wuhan or the Kung Flu or whatever the hell people are calling it these days, the COVID-19, whatever it is. When you have that kind of control and you are superpowered, you've got places that can cook up all sorts of fun stuff in terms of just little nasties that can wipe out certain strains of populations and all that fun stuff. So that I
just
really,
happens to be election year too.
Yeah,
how about that?
Just right. Just happens to be right. So this whole thing, like you got me kind of spun up with this, and I was like, yeah, like this. I think this is one of those things that's not outside the realm of possibility. And you look at what it's done. You want to talk like the cataclysmic show that is about to happen here in the United States. That's what I kind of wanted to like start into, right?
Stop buying toilet paper.
Yeah, buy a bidet. Do something different. I mean, there's wipes and everything else out there. But I'm pretty sure this audience is probably a little more prepared, than
I would hope.
I just think that through common sense and the understanding of Austrian economics, first and foremost, the understanding of, how many different bubbles upon bubbles upon bubbles there were, and this thing that we've been talking about forever, right? That something was going to happen, man. And for the life of me, like I said, man, I think this audience really is probably better prepared than most in terms of toilet paper and food and all that fun stuff. Location might be a thing, but I hope you got lead too. That's one of those things where
best precious metal around.
The most precious metal around. Yeah. You can take gold if you got lead.
Take gold and take food, toilet paper, anything.
Yeah. I see that one. What is it? Jim from Office Space, where the meme where he's looking through the curtains and it says like watching all your neighbors stock up on your supplies, right? Like you've been ready for the boog forever. Right. And that was funny. We talked about that yesterday too. Like the whole. So Brett's not real big on social media.
Absent.
It's fine, man. I think going back to college after I got out of the Marine Corps, I was with a younger group of people, and 2005, 2006, that was really kind of the introduction to Facebook and that kind of stuff. I think Twitter came around long later,
MySpace.
But MySpace, whatever it was. And so, I started in on that with those guys, and I think that carried over because, I mean, like you, Matt, Justin, Nick, I mean, the rest of the guys that I grew up with, man, they are non-existent in these spaces for the most part.
I was there, enjoyed it, whatever, and then just
said enough is enough.
Well, it's just one of those things. What are you going to occupy your time with? What do you want?
I have to curate stories and stuff, and
totally get that part of
it, and help people understand the ideas of liberty. That's what I do with it, and it helps me. But I know that, I mean, obviously, most of it, would the world be better off without it? And in some ways it would. Sometimes in some ways it wouldn't.
I don't want to see what you're eating for dinner. I don't care what you had for lunch. I don't care about your gym activity.
You can get rid of those people, right?
No, I get it.
Unfollow them, turn them off.
It's just a plethora of BS, and there are great things like this on there, but it just goes back to jelly beans. What are you going to spend your jelly beans on? If you don't know about jelly beans, go find that video, how you spend your jelly beans in life.
Yeah.
And you got a pile of here that's huge, and it's sleep and it's work, and you got a pile here that's stuff you do with personal time, and your jelly bean pile that is personal time is infinitely smaller than.
That's right, man. No, you're not wrong, man. And like I said, I have ulterior motives for doing this kind of stuff. The one of the guys that I really pay attention to and a lot of this kind of stuff. First and foremost, can we say this? Do you believe? And I believe. I'll just say I believe. You can tell me if you concur. I think this whole Corona thing is an attempt by the failed state and states out there in the federal banking cartel that is the Federal Reserve, on top of it in the bureaucracy. I think it is an attempt to blame something for a economic crash that we knew was coming for a really, really long time, right? Like it's masquerading itself, and they're masquerading this coronavirus as something that it is not, to blame an economic slump on in the first place and their failure.
Yeah, I think you're right on with that. I think it's one of those things where everybody's freaking out about something where show me the bodies. I say that with everything.
Yeah.
Show me the bodies, whether it's Kung Flu or weed or whatever. There's no bodies.
What's the proof, right?
Show me an otherwise healthy human being with no asthma, no lung, no COPD, no issues,
No diabetes,
no nothing. Your average Joe who goes to work from 9 to 5, who's between the age of 20-something and 50-something, and say, this guy died from this.
Yeah.
Show me that guy.
Well, and
show me one guy that's...
Show me the recovery cases. How many, why isn't that in the top headlines? How many people are contracting it? How many people have recovered from it? And who are they? Who are the people who are recovering from it? Who are the people who died from it? And what is their age? And I'll tell you right now, like, I'm pretty good with Google and Mozilla and the rest of these search engines out there, and I can find what I'm looking for. I'll tell you right now, the prioritization right now and the lockdown, I think, in terms of search engines and trying to find certain types of information is really, really difficult. That's why I like Twitter, because there's that.
It's filterless.
Well, it's not.
For the most part.
Kind of.
For the most part.
I
say for the most part. I say for the most part. As long as you're not bashing the left, you're probably all right.
Yeah, one of the guys I really pay attention to, Brett, and I know you do too, is Peter Schiff. Peter Schiff is one of those guys that, sometimes maybe a tad too much, but and he's definitely a gold bug.
But smart.
But yeah, really, really brilliant guy. Peter Schiff, this was last week. This is March 19th. This article is from SchiffGold.com. On Wednesday, March 18th, Peter Schiff did a live episode of his podcast and took questions for over 4 hours. In a nutshell, Peter made the case that the real crash is here. He covered a wide range of topics relating from ongoing, ever-evolving corona crisis as far as the mainstream narrative out there. Peter said, quote, everybody has lost their minds. This is really the most idiotic thing I've ever seen. And the economy is about to implode. That much is pretty sure. Peter is not talking about the steps being taken to hunker down in an effort to slow the spread of coronavirus. He's talking about what everybody is saying the government needs to do to address the economic downturn. In 2007, Peter Schiff wrote the book Crash Proof: How to Profit from the Coming Economic Collapse. He followed that up with A Real Crash: America's Coming Bankruptcy: How to Save Yourself and Your Country. He gave his second book the title because 2008 wasn't the real crash. Quote, it's the one that's about to happen, end quote. Peter said it took longer than he thought it would to get his point out, but here we are. Quote, that bubble has now popped. Believe me, I like that sound effect, Brett. Believe me, I had no idea that the pin pop this bubble would be the coronavirus. This pin has pricked the biggest bubble that the Federal Reserve has ever inflated, and now the air is coming out, and at this point, it doesn't even matter what happens to that pin. The damage is already done. The cat's out of the bag, the bubble is popped, and there's a lot of air that's going to come out of it. So this article continues, and maybe I'll get into it for a second, but I think this is the pop, man. You?
I mean, Peter Schiff got it wrong the first time, so who knows, right?
Did he get it wrong the first time?
I say
he missed the window-ish.
Self-admittedly said that it wasn't as...
He didn't see the bailout coming as big as it was.
It could have happened. It should have happened.
Right.
He was right about that. I'm not saying he was wrong. He called it exactly like it should have happened. Oh, just print more money. It's fine. No big deal. Yeah, I think it's very, very feasible to think that this is the one that where we had like a 5-year setback before. It's going to take a hell of a lot longer to get back to normal.
Zero.
Yeah.
Get
back to normal.
Yeah, normal. And what is that? I mean, here's the thing: is let's just say for a second, let's say they do the same damn thing as last time. I mean, let's face it, they're trying, right? They're the American bailout. Yeah, it's going to be great. We're going to bail out all Americans.
You get $1,000 and you get $1,000.
What a bunch of horse. I mean, the idea that money is just free. Everybody gets money. I mean, what a giant load of it, man. That money, and I have to explain this, man, for people who are new to the show. And I'll tell you right now, the numbers right now are going up pretty good. I imagine that's because, first and foremost, a guy that talks like this who's running for Senate is saying some things. And then secondly, people aren't getting the truth from the idiots out there, from the propaganda machines, right?
Yeah.
They know what propaganda is, right? And they don't trust it anymore. The idea where I was going with this whole thing was that, where was I going with the whole thing? Bubble.
Peter Schiff.
Yeah, I had it on the tip of my tongue. I was about to explain. Oh, boy. What the hell was I about to explain? I hate when I do that, Brett.
Inflation?
Oh, no. The quantitative easing.
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody's getting a bailout. Everybody's going to get a bailout. The problem is that money is going to bond you. They're going to take $1.5 trillion and create it out of thin air.
That's your grandkids' money.
It's probably their grandkids' money.
Yeah,
they're going to print it out of thin air. They're going to digitize it. The first place it's going to go is banks. And that's where you get into fractional reserve banking. That $1 that's created in debt to enslave people, that they will come back to us for through taxes.
Your cattle number
is going to be divided another 9 times. Yeah, get on it. So for every dollar of debt that's created by the Fed, you get 9 more dollars of debt automatically, almost automatically. So that is going to come back and it's going to bite us all in the butt. And see, that's the thing is you say it gets back to normal. All right, here we go. Here's your bailout, America. Here's your Band-Aid on that balloon for the next 5, 10, 20 years, whatever it's going to be. When it pops again and again and again and again, I mean,
we'll all be speaking Mandarin.
What point do you get to where you guys just like stop putting Band-Aids on it, get rid of this crappy system, right? Like get rid of the Federal Reserve and let's let people do what they need to do to trade.
Yeah, I'm optimistic. I don't know, maybe we'll see how it works out. But at a certain point, when knowledge is free and ever expansive, and you can literally go and find anything you want at the touch of your fingertips, maybe some of these people will say, "Oh, maybe I should look up why this is an issue. Maybe I should figure this out." In an age of information, ignorance is a choice. If you figure this stuff out. Sorry.
You can move it to your face.
I think it's just we have a smarter generation of people. That's what makes me optimistic.
It's coming up,
It's coming.
Yeah.
These people are I was talking to you about it the other day, where I feel like when we grew up with books and everything else, it's something that, we got to go do a book report, an actual book report.
Yeah.
Now you can literally go and get whatever you want. And when you can go do that, you ought to be able to understand basic economics. You ought to understand your basic constitutional rights, and you ought to understand where your money is going and how it's being taken from you. When all that's said and done, all this is a big sham. Yeah. Pull the curtain back. The emperor wears no clothes kind of stuff. You ought to be able to understand this stuff with a 10-minute dissertation. And I know you talk to your kids about this stuff. I talk to my kids about this stuff. If the kids who are coming up and the people who are keen on doing something about it, I think this problem will eventually solve itself. We get all these a-holes out of office. And
you think just because the amount of information that can be consumed at a rapid rate and how truth kind of has this way of burning down lies and everything else, where you're like where you see now, I saw it even yesterday when I was watching some of the news. Not that I watch it, but it's OANN. Some reporter in the back aisle of the press conference in the White House asked Donald Trump basically a question, and everybody else was like, who are these people? These unaccredited, why are they even here? Ew.
People that are taking your job.
Grass. And that's like, that was the mainstream propaganda response to this lady's question out there. trust me, I don't know who she is, and I don't care. But she asked a question, and it was one of those very polarizing moments. But it was something.
It's a valid question.
It was something new in the White House press pool, right? It was.
How'd you get in here?
Oh, she stinks. I can smell the deplorable on her, for God's sakes, right? Like that kind of thing. Yeah. And you start like the propaganda machines are done. Like in this day and age, the only people that watch propaganda are boomers. And
there's a couple young people.
There's a couple young people who haven't, shrugged off the mom and dad influence, right? Like, I'm telling you right now, if you're out there and you're watching propaganda machines, I'm not trying to disparage you. I'm just trying to tell you, listen, it's propaganda. Don't watch propaganda. Go out there and find people who are doing real news, or journalism, or commentating, or whatever it is, at least in a fair light, saying, hey, listen. It's not Democrats and Republicans anymore, people. It's you versus the state, period. It's us, right? And so, I don't know. I just get to this point where I think you're right. I think you're right in terms of, the machine is broke. Everybody sees that the machine is broke. Everybody sees that the propaganda that's part of the machine is broke. And at that point, that's a good thing.
It's a great thing.
The reverence for this, I don't know, nation of institutions, is really, it's dwindling fast, man. And that, this is what gets me really, really happy, right? Because I read things from my buddy Mike Mahari, the guy who was, he's one of the main contributors over at the 10th Amendment Center. He works with Michael Bolden and those guys. He's been on the, what?
Michael Bolden.
No, Bolden. He's been on the show, but he was also on, because I was looking for stuff on Shift's site. I found Mike Mahari's interview here, and basically he's quoted as saying, every generation of Americans has been called to make shared sacrifices for the good of the nation. To this day, nobody has ever seen like it. What they are able to do, like what they were able to do during World War II. Now it's our time. We must sacrifice together because we are all in this together, and we will come together. We will come together in this against this invisible enemy. That's always the toughest enemy, the invisible enemy. That was said by I want to say the president, if I'm looking at this. Yeah, the president was told reporters at the White House briefing that they're fighting the virus would require a sacrificial nation effort, just like the one it took to defeat the Axis powers in the Second World War. Now, what's the problem with that, Brett?
There's a lot of problems with that.
Can you give me just one bald-faced problem with it?
It's like fighting the war on terror, or fighting the war on drugs, or fighting an imaginary thing.
All these wars, yeah. The war on poverty, the war on drugs, the war on terror.
Drugs, terror. If there is a war on anything, people, your antenna should go up. It is the most ridiculous crap in the world. If it goes to a war on anything, virus, whatever, it is absolute nonsense. We should have a war on whatever you want to increase. What happens when you have the war on drugs? Oh, look at all the drugs we have. It's amazing. Look at all the homeless people we have. Look at the poverty that we have. Look at all the things that the war on this, the war on that.
Predicated on the lies that we're going to stop it with your money. And not only your money, your kids' money, your grandkids' money, their grandkids' money.
Saddle up.
Yeah, just let's go. We're going to put it on the backs of future generations. So anyway, after he made this quote, Mike goes on, but listening to all the rhetoric coming from the politicians and pundits, one has to ask, where exactly is the sacrifice? The government is promising bailouts for everybody. We're just weeks into this crisis, and there is already an expectation that the government will be sending everybody checks. Peter Schiff called it a bailed out nation. Apparently, the government wants sacrifice with no pain. Unfortunately, that's not a thing. Americans didn't get checks from the government in World War II. They got higher taxes. Schiff summed up in his tweet. During World War II, the middle-class Americans sacrificed to support the U.S. government's war effort. They paid much higher taxes, substantially reduced their consumption, and loaned their savings to the government. The people support the government. The government can't support the people.
That's right.
Dead on.
And they went and built tanks and everything else in their factors on overtime and everything that they could do to do what they needed.
Yeah, think about the sacrifice of not the government. Okay, the government
didn't sacrifice
everything that it has. It stole by force at gunpoint, and everything that it says has been a lie.
Yep.
Quote me. Therein lies the ugly truth. There is no sacrifice without pain. The government can bail out the airlines. It can bail out the hotels. It can helicopter money in and drop it on your head. You're still going to pay, either through higher taxes in the future or through inflation. In the end, economics always wins. Trump is right. You are going to sacrifice for the government actions surrounding the coronavirus. What he's not telling you is it's gonna hurt. The government and the central bank response to the economic crisis precipitated by the coronavirus are creating the perfect storm for price inflation. The problem isn't a lack of money, it's a lack of stuff. We're all sitting at home and a lot of us aren't producing anything. Uncle Sam can stuff our mailboxes with checks, and that money doesn't do us a damn bit of good if there's nothing to buy. The end result will be a lot more dollars chasing a lot fewer goods. That means prices will go up. When inflation heats up, the interest rates rise. That's the proper response. How exactly is that going to work in a world when it's up to its eyeballs in debt? Yeah, like we said, Mike, it's way past your eyeballs. It's up to your great grandchildren's eyeballs now. And Schiff keeps saying that we're on a path to a dollar crisis. All the money in the Fed is printing isn't going to have value. It isn't going to buy anything. Prices are going to skyrocket. And in fact, the coronavirus is accelerating that process because the coronavirus is reducing the supply of goods available to buy today.
Publix is empty.
Is it? I haven't left here in a while, man.
Yeah, you can buy 2 of everything, and that's it. You can't buy. I buy 4 jars of spaghetti sauce every time.
That's interesting.
Every time I go to Publix, every time.
Yeah.
If I buy spaghetti sauce, I buy 4 because we usually use 2 at a time, and now you can buy 2, and you can buy 2 of this, and you can buy 2 of that. I looked like Noah's Ark going up to the because that's what I don't want to go to the store every day. I end up going probably a couple times a week, but it's to buy a protein for dinner or something like that.
Yeah. So Brett and I live out in the sticks, okay? Like we are out on purpose. And probably, I mean, I'll tell you right now, part of the reason I got out here when I got out here is I knew this was coming, right? Like this is one of those things that you don't have to have a crystal ball. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen in 2020 during an election year to get rid of this DJT guy that's in the White House, right? Like that was the one thing that
like a rap name.
Yeah, I know. But now that they're running Biden against him, God. Yeah,
good luck.
Excuse me. Almost seems like a staged event.
Almost.
Weird.
They would pick the guy with the 2 worst hair jobs. Hey. Let's get this guy that's dying over.
We got nobody younger that understands, some real. I mean, that's the thing. Look at those 2 idiots. Look at
Yeah, I'm with you.
Like you got Trump and you got I don't know Sanders and Biden. I know Sanders hasn't quite dropped out yet.
Take Sanders over Biden for crying out loud. I don't care.
At least looks younger.
I don't care what side you're on. He's a better candidate.
Oh, I agree.
That's why they won't let him in.
I agree with you. That's why they wouldn't let Tulsi in at all. At least, I guess Bernie was mostly anti-war, but and Tulsi,
she's a lot better than
she's
all of them.
Mostly anti-war too, except for in some places. But the idea that you got these 2 people that don't understand economics. Here's the thing: is you could say, what theory of economics do you subscribe to, Joe Biden? What theory of economics do you subscribe to? Their DJT, and you'd just be like, what? What are you talking about? So the theory is that in macro level and they try to give you some BS answer, right? And like these are the 2 guys that are supposed to be running the quote unquote company. Like, come on, guys, this is ridiculous.
Joe would need a speech to steal. You can't be president, FYI,
Yeah.
if you've done that.
Jesus, I mean,
But whatever, just
yeah,
go ahead.
This
It's no big deal.
Yeah,
It's not like it's a law.
Let's not mention the fact that he can't remember where he is. Like nobody loves him enough to say, "Joe, go home," right? And
Quit smelling kids' hair.
yeah, Jesus, no, and that's the. I mean, I hate to say elephant in the room because he's an ass, right? But pun intended. The idea that guy has groped and I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, don't. But yes.
Yeah, probably done some worse things. I don't know. Maybe he hasn't. Maybe he's just a kid sniffer.
He's definitely done worse things than sniff kids' hair, but get his kid pointed to boards. I mean, he's that guy. He's a political.
Yeah, he's been in it too long, and he's on his way out. And now he's losing his mind as this whole thing. And what a terrible time to be Joe Biden. But at any rate, there are. We know it's all a damn sham that's coming undone. Now, as guys who have families and see silver linings in a lot of this, you drive around the metro Atlanta perimeter all the time.
Yeah,
I am more of a recluse, and I don't have to go anywhere, so I don't go anywhere. And if I need to, it's a pretty strategic trip to get in and get out. I haven't gone to a grocery store in a long time, man.
Let the wife go.
Yeah. She's armed and dangerous.
I know, right?
You don't want to mess with Meredith.
It's close.
Yeah, it is, and it's Liberty Publix, for God's sakes. Yeah,
I love that too. We should rename.
Oh, trust me, it's going to catch on eventually. People are going to know where Liberty Public. It's going to be like what is
Vegas.
it? No, what's the what's that part or that Kroger murder Kroger down in Atlanta, right? We got Liberty Publix up here. Y'all can keep that murder Publix down there, or murder Kroger. But there are good things that are happening out there. And I made a list. I actually sat down with Meredith and made a list the other day. I was like, hey, tell me about all the awesome stuff that you're seeing. Because right now, an entire new generation is being homeschooled for the first time.
Yeah, mine.
Yeah. Right?
It's great.
It is great. When's the last time all the kids weren't going to a government indoctrination center? 1800 something?
Oh, yeah, I couldn't tell you exactly when, but I can tell you, there are heartache, pains, and things that come along with it. But
yeah,
I've seen my oldest grow over this short period.
Yeah, into
a better kid.
He's 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so you say he's grown into a better kid. I mean, are there examples of, what you want to say, without disclosing too much, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's taken on a super large responsibility.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, like when he started, like when you guys said, basically what your course of action was going to be, I was like, all right, well, I mean, I'm not far away, but if you guys need anything, you guys let me know. And so I was like, okay, but yeah, no, I mean, that's a huge thing. Now, have they asked you guys questions about why and what's going on, and how have you talked to them about this?
Yeah, there's definitely questions, and you don't want to scare your kids, and I don't think there's anything worth scaring about. So,
right.
How do I put this? My wife works in healthcare, so she has to be precautious. She has to be, because if she is known to come in contact with anybody with this BS virus,
right,
she has to let her boss know. She has, and then she basically has 4 weeks off or whatever it ends up being, which means we're not making money, right? My wife makes good money doing what she does, and if she's not at work, then that's not good for us. That's not good for our home. It's even worse than having, children not have people to watch them. And when you have children at that age and they need to have somebody around, that's great, but she is in a position where she can't afford to stay home. I can't afford to stay home. We have bills to pay. We have
Oh,
things to do.
a lot like most Americans.
Most people, right?
Right?
I'm lucky my kids are of the age that they're at. Front Street. We were latchkey kids.
Yo, man, hell yeah, we were
At
latchkey
like
kids.
6.
7 years old. Yeah.
Because mom went back to work shortly after I was out of kindergarten, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh man, yeah, I don't remember.
You watched me.
I don't remember mom not being at work.
Yeah,
you know, and
I remember her being at home on Wednesdays.
Yeah, and that was one day that you were like, oh, cool, mom's home, or whatever, you know, especially if it lined up with like, I don't know, a break in the schedule or something like that. We got to hang out with mom all day, and it was kind of a new, cool thing, you know, for us to be able to do. Because if not, we were down in our grandparents' house, which our grandparents lived 10 houses down.
In the neighborhood.
Yeah, in our neighborhood, and it you know, if we weren't, you know, at home, we were there. And
or running in the street, somewhere in between.
Yeah, being 80s kids.
Yeah. Supervision.
No supervision.
But yeah, and it's a different time, and it's a different. But I will say this: my son has shouldered a responsibility that he wasn't used to.
Yeah.
And like completely stepped up. So cool, right?
Yeah.
But I think it was one of those things that he needed to do because. Like I said, you were probably watching me at 7 years old. You were, hey, go home, get off the bus, go do your homework, go inside. When you're done, you can go play in the backyard or in front of the house.
Or in the driveway.
Or in the driveway.
Yeah, whatever it was.
We had a kind of secluded house where you could be inside quickly if you needed to be.
Yep.
And we lived in an area that was way more populated than what we live in.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't see any issues with it. But it's one of those things where I'm very, very happy where this
we're
is kind of going.
Yeah, good planning. So I my kids kind of just, you know, they understand that this is a bit blown out of proportion, right? Like. It's not the flu, right? It's the economy, and that's a little more of an abstract idea for those guys. Now, I will tell you, you know, I've had these conversations with my wife too. You know, when we were up, I don't know, it was just a couple nights ago. I said, hey, you know, we've got out of town family in right now. I'm not going to say any more than that, but you know, in preparation for all of the craziness that's most likely gonna happen. Not because of the coronavirus, but because of the economy probably collapsing here in the very near future. I said, hey, we need to make some real prep here in terms of logistical and like getting people here. And so I think it's kind of been, you know, a little bit of sandpaper, right? It's one of those things that, you know, a good stoic and especially an amazing wife. You know, a lot of times it's an internalized thing, right? Where it's just that slow sandpaper in the back of the mind that will wear you after a while. And I think, you know, if you're feeling tired, you know, lately because you're thinking about this kind of stuff, you're not alone, right? Like, I think most people who have any ounce of intelligence out there right now
exhausted by it. And I'm not that smart.
Man,
Done. So happy it's Friday.
Yeah, you know, and that's the thing is, like, I think most people right now in the back of their mind, they're going, all right, how's this going to shake out? You know, even if you do feel like you're in a good position, like, you know, I feel like I'm in a pretty good position for this whole thing, but at the same time, it's going to be rough, man. It's going to be a ton of pain out there, and I think that conversation where you do talk about this in your house, and you know, if it's not comfortable to talk about it in front of your kids, then don't talk about it in front of your kids. If it's, you know, if you got like a multi-generational home like I do, like, don't, you know, and you don't want to talk about it around other people, right? Like, okay, don't, but talk to each other, man. That in this time, you know, your marriage, your family is going to be paramount, as it should be all the time, right? And the idea that you can internalize this and get through this and just be this like rock 100% 24/7 365 is not reality. Okay, take it from somebody who has been you know, shell shock, you know, like really, like, no kidding, after a while cracks form, right? And those cracks in the back of your mind, wherever they are, they can get really bad. And I guarantee you, your spouse is going through the same thing. Sit down, talk to each other, love each other. Start the conversation out by saying, "Hey, I love you." Hey, like that.
Yeah.
It goes a long way. Talk about what's going on. Talk about, maybe some of the things that you're thinking about. Just, it doesn't have to, you don't have to sit there and say, "I want to do this." Just present ideas to each other and your thoughts and your feelings. And this is coming from a guy that shut down feelings for a long time, man. It's like, tell people how you're feeling. I mean, are you uneasy? Are you anxious? Are you exhausted? Are you just, I don't know, tired of the BS that's coming in? You look like you can say something. Go for it.
No, I totally agree with you. It's one of those where I think people have this dichotomy of trying to be strong, and yet they want to do what they need to do, and it's hard. I mean, I don't have the answers. I'm not a doctor. Obviously,
Dr. Hazel.
It'd be great. But it's one of those things where, communication is huge, and especially in your family life. And, like I was saying, it's one of those where you may be feeling this and they might be feeling that. And I'm not worried about all this. And I get, like, even my wife and I go to people's houses every day, and I see, I'm in the public 100%. And I'm not worried about it, but I see people super scared.
Yeah.
And even at Publix today, Liberty Publix, all right. I saw this guy talking to somebody that he knew, and he said, like 6 foot safe space or something. I don't know what it was like. It's like the new code. I don't know what, but she's like, "Oh, that is weird." What? Like, okay, I get it. Like, maybe you think you're infectious, or maybe you think she's infected. I don't know.
Whatever.
But it's a different kind of time, and I really think that it's just one of those things where as soon as it gets hot, it's going to be, because it's going to all die off, right? When it's hot.
Well, apparently it doesn't do well in the heat.
It doesn't do well in heat. Well, good luck in Georgia. So you guys up north might be in this for a little bit longer. But it is 80 degrees outside right now.
Listen, if there isn't mass die-offs in Florida at the Villages right now.
Right.
Do you know the Villages takes up like 4 counties? Did you know that?
No.
Somebody was telling me the other day. It was when I was at the funeral for our uncle. And a lot of his buddies who live not in the Villages but live in Florida, they're in their 60s, 70s, right? And they were talking about all the STDs that run around that place anyway, and how loose and free the people are down there. But and I was thinking, I was like, dude, that you want to talk about a great metric in terms of how damn bad this whole thing is. I want to talk to the mayor of the Villages, or whoever that is down there, that's kind of running the show. Hey, who's dying? Are people dying? If they're
Have
not,
you heard about it?
I haven't, man.
I'm pretty sure you'd hear about it if it was happening.
You would think, in a population that can't help but trade keys, if you know what I mean, and hop on the bad leg and do the bad thing, or good leg, bad thing, whatever it is. Boy, I butcher some things sometimes. The amount of cases that we would hear about coming out of Central Florida would just be astronomical.
Yeah,
I don't see it.
Show me the bodies.
Sure.
Fox News, MSNBC, all you guys, show me the bodies.
I gotta see it. Yeah.
Please show me. I mean, I
heard something the other day, like only like
15,
16 people have died in the United States. 15 or 16 people, Brett, and we're freaking out. Anyway, I want to go back to the whole family thing real quick, because I got to tell you, after that conversation with my wife, and trust me, I'm feeling it too, people. There's some uncertainty. There's some anxiety. This is all going to shake out. Unlike we don't know. Like we've never lived through something like this. I would tell you, positive communication is the key to getting through this together, right? without hating each other and loving each other. This is going to be a test, not only for America, but for American couples, right? Like American families. And I hope what happens is people start to see how damn dumb half the crap that they worry about on a regular basis is, and they finally get back to, some real, some reality, not the TV and all that crap, but really getting in, plugging into their family and doing some things. And I have found some amazing things in terms of the response, right? Like, government got us here, people. They are not the solution. They are not going to save your asses when all this goes down. They're the problem. And when you start hearing about, all the great bailouts and government stimulus and how they're going to fix everything, you should probably walk away right then and there and think about what's going on. Because what I see deregulation already happening. And it's not because, they want to deregulate. It's because they have to deregulate. Right. The only thing that is going to get America out of this is Americans. And it isn't corporations in terms of it is people showing up, putting in some hard work, and doing charity at the same time, and being inventive and letting their passion shine through genius and charity. And so I want to point out some of the people that I have found in terms of what they're doing out there that is just, I don't know, it gets my feels going, and I don't want to turn this into a cry fest or anything, but at the same time, I want to give credit where it's due. I want to inspire anybody and everybody out there to give to their communities, because the likelihood that you're going to get sick from helping people is zero. The likelihood that you're going to get a great response from people is 100%. Almost 100%, man. 99.5.
There's a-holes out there.
Yeah, there's jackasses out there. So one of the first things I saw that came out, this is the guys out at GOA Brewing Company. They put out a tweet last week, and this was, we are making these nonconformist, like this. They've got two hands up like this. Nonconformist sanitizers available at normal costs to fight the shortage. Our brewing team is making them using WHO guideline for our tribe and GOA. If you carry own bottle, basically if you carry your own bottle, you can take a free refill from the brewery.
That's
so
awesome.
A brewery that brews alcohol is now in the Purell business.
That's great.
And they're giving you free refills.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What a great
fantastic
group of people.
Yep.
Yeah. This isn't government. This is people getting together, doing charity. I think it's absolutely, it tickles me, man. Like, cool. Like all these people, like, that they wanted. If government had their way, right, these guys would have never been in business.
Right.
Back in the 1920s, they shut it down. Prohibition. Shut it down.
Yep.
I tweeted at Governor Kemp the other day. I said, Governor Kemp, you should have legalized hemp yesterday. The world is going to need a ton of cheap energy to get through this.
Should have legalized it a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Hemp be damned. Cannabis in general.
All of it.
Yeah.
Every damn bit of it.
You're an asshole if you haven't.
Hey, and here's the thing is, right now with what's going on out there, being able to present solutions and smart solutions and flying in the face of these jackass tyrants in government, it feels so good, Brett. I can't even begin to tell you. To have a platform where you can speak truth to power and tell these bastards, hey, listen, you guys are JV, JV yes men, right? Yep. I'll challenge. I know Kemp, that's what he is and that's what he wants. I don't care to ever have his endorsement, nor do I want it.
No, you don't want that.
Now, I will challenge Donald Trump, being the businessman and a guy who is, I don't know, prides on himself on the art of the deal, with a guy who's in office right now, David Perdue, with a god-awful record, who has voted for every omnibus bill and every he's signed on to gun legislation and gun control laws, and he is absolutely not a good proprietor of your rights or constitutional voting. Not that it's a perfect document, but hey, Donald Trump, Wouldn't you rather have somebody up there who's pretty bold and not a yes man that's trying to get you out of this situation? And I say get us out of this, letting the people get us out of this situation rather than
entrepreneurs.
A damn yes man that's sitting there on his fat, comfy ass?
Yep.
Yeah, damn right. I'm going to challenge him. And after this whole thing that had just exploded with Loeffler and Purdue doing some insider trading, selling off, I don't know, millions and millions of dollars in stocks on confidential briefings that only they got. Boy, yeah, be the guy that backs those people. That'd be real awesome. But to get back to this stuff, one of the other things that's really cool that's coming out, like I said and kind of alluded to earlier, was the fact that people are homeschooling for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
If ever, excuse me. My wife is obviously a homeschooler. She has started her blog back up. Her blog, if you guys are interested or your wives are interested, is Wait Till Your Father Gets Home. It is, she kind of took a break from this to, educate her children after they reached a certain age. She kind of shut it down. I think she was doing like, I don't know how many damn page hits she had. I mean, it was, I don't know. We had to educate our children or she probably would have just kept this going. But now, she's finding a little more time. We've got a couple extra hands here.
Yep.
And she's started to back out to spread charity, right? One of the coolest things that I saw was she posted this from, oh boy, I don't even know how to say this. The Hiflauten homeschooler. It's Dear Viral Homeschoolers.
That's good.
Welcome, if only briefly, to the homeschool world. Please relax and know homeschooling is not checking off lessons and classroom hours logged. Even though we have supplies and this viral scare isn't rocking our schedules as much, we are taking the time for these lessons. First bullet point. Talk as a family about what's going on in the government and hysterical media. That is social studies.
Good.
Figure out how much toilet paper one person truly needs for 15 days. That's math. Let your kids cook dinner, something creative, starting with the most perishable food items first. That's life skills. Get outside for a walk, bike ride, weed the flower beds, hide and seek. That's PE. Read a book, magazine, tell campfire stories around a plate of microwave s'mores. That's reading and story time. Watch great movies that entertain, touch on history, and open discussion. That's history. Explain good hand washing, nutrition, and how germs spread. Rub a piece of wet bread on everybody's unwashed hands and let it grow. This is science. Stay in contact with friends online. This is technology and communications. And lastly, enjoy this time out. We'll all be back at the fast-paced grind soon. This will be a memorable moment for all of us. And someday, someone might poke fun of homeschooling, and you'll remember being with your family of all ages and all the learning you did without a desk or lesson plans. And you'll tell them that homeschooling is awesome, freeing, and everyone should get to for at least a moment in time. And that is socialization.
Good job, Mayor.
This, well, she didn't write that. She posted that. She has since taken that torch and applied it to her blog, right?
Yeah,
She's showing people, right? I took pictures today because we obviously do this all the damn time, right? We do this all the time. And, with mom and dad also in close proximity, my kids were put to work, right? They're out there getting into this giant wood chip pile, and they're spreading it, and they're learning about, erosion control and horticulture and snakes and different types of insects. Yeah, getting bit by fire ants, right?
Good.
Like, stay away from them. Learn how to smash them if you actually do accidentally step into a nest. And, and for those of you guys that don't know, you're going to take your leg and you're going to squeeze it and you're going to push down your leg like you're trying to squeeze all the blood into the bottom of your foot, and you're just going to smash it and do it over and over and over again. And that's how you get all the ants off. You don't try to pat them and swat them and do that kind of thing. You get down there and you get to business. But Henry learned that the hard way today.
Sorry, Henny.
That's these type of things, man. I mean, it's school your kids. Take them through your day. Show them what you're doing. Tell them why you're doing it. And that's that idea that we've gotten away from is like, hey, man, what do you need to make it in this world? Because the world is about to change real damn drastically. Real drastically. Anyway, some of the other things that I have seen outside of homeschooling and making, this hand sanitizer at breweries, the drive-throughs, right? People are staying open, right? I mean, people are still trying to meet the mail, like
trying.
But what has happened is these guys have adjusted a lot of things, right? Like at ChickFilA. The most terrible, awful place on earth. The homophobic racist.
Shut your mouth.
I
know.
I am obviously kidding. But, like little things that they've already done, and I'm sure they've done even more than I can, point out here. But the last time I went, they weren't giving out trays for one thing. Right? So we're stopping the spread of
gloves.
This. They are hand delivering everything to a table. And since then, they have shut down their actual eating area in the building and kept just the drive-through open. These are not government regulations.
Right.
These are not government restrictions. This is the private market responding at the speed of commerce.
Yep.
That is an amazing thing to watch.
Yeah.
To see,
even if it's unnecessary.
Even if it is unnecessary.
ChickFilA, you could handle my food all you want with bare hands. I
don't care. I love your Jesus chicken. It is amazing.
It is holy.
I don't know. I know True Kathy's in hell because he sold his soul to the devil to get this Jesus chicken. But Jesus Christ, it's amazing.
It's so damn good.
All right, so you've got ChickFilA who's doing that. Have you been out and seen anybody adjusting on the fly to what's going on in terms of
Publix is wiping down everything every 20 minutes?
Yeah.
I know everybody at Publix because
you spend a lot of time there.
I've been here for 12 years.
People, what's funny is now that I'm here, people look at me and they go,
I know you.
They're like, wait,
yeah,
no, you're a carbon. You're kind of that copy of a copy, not as bright.
You're my doppelganger. Sound like him, you look like him.
Yeah.
You got tattoos though. What's going on?
Reformation Brewery. Big shout out to these guys here. They're here in North Georgia. They are still functioning. And they're still opening, and they've got growlers that you can order and go pick up. Right.
Good job.
And I hope you guys, if you need beer, go support your local places like this, man. Like your local breweries and local, local shops that are in local population and service. If you got money and you got some time and all that fun stuff and you're not worried about this, go out and shop with these people, man. Go out. I mean, this fiat currency.
LaGrange.
Yeah. Wild Leap. We're sitting. What do you got over there? Is that the Chance IPA? Oh, it's a
Chance in the other
amazing.
10.
Amazing.
Everything they have is delicious.
Yeah. I mean, them and Reformation, boy, I'll tell you what, some good stuff. In Gate City. Damn.
Gate City's good too.
Gate City has got some banging beers, man. But yeah, go out and support these guys. One of the other things out there that I did see is this guy who's doing lunch doodles with Mo. And lunch doodles with Mo. Mo is I forgot Mo's last name, but you can look it up. He does Gerald.
Sislak.
Yeah, he does Gerald and Piggy. Gerald's a giant elephant, and Piggy's a pig. And it's basically this really, it's one of the series that my kids are growing up with or grew up with, right? It's like Jackson used to, I mean, he'll still read them, but he used to pour through these things. And Henry, man, he would read or have Jackson read these things to him and just giggle. This guy is getting online every day and showing kids how he draws. That's
awesome.
What is the creative process in terms of how did you come up with characters? How did you write your first book? How does illustration work? How does scene building work? how does all this stuff work? And this guy is taking his time out of every day, like a ton of other people are doing and putting out there in social media for consumption while this whole hiccup is going on, right?
Yeah.
It proves we don't need the damn government.
Yep. Imagine that.
In this day and age of technology, what a gift. What a silver lining to be able to sit back and realize, hey, look, this is charity. This is what can happen when good people want to give something of themselves back, and it costs zero.
Yep. Especially when everybody's trying to scare you and everybody's telling you don't touch anybody, don't do anything.
People are awful.
Yeah. And people are still charitable.
Stay away from people.
Yeah.
Stay away from good people. I mean, how ridiculous is it? What a night and day contrast.
Yeah. And so working in customer service kind of, it's one of those things where you meet people that just want to shake your hand.
Yeah.
And just say,
what are you doing about that these days? You high fiving, you fist bumping,
I am maintaining a 7-foot radius for people because there are people.
So somebody comes up to you and like puts their hand out like this.
I don't give them that opportunity.
Yeah,
and
hey. How you doing?
I stand there with my hand in my pocket, my right hand in my pocket, my other one holding my supplies, and I just say, hey, due to the circumstances of what's going on right now, we're not shaking hands, we're not doing paperwork, we're not doing any of that.
Yeah.
If it's something that you feel like you need to do, then I don't know what to tell you, but it's just one of the, it is what it is, and I'm not one of those people that is scared by anything. But
yeah.
It's just, it is the new norm for
now,
at least a month.
Yeah,
for a month.
Apparently something's going to happen.
Well, I will say this: if it's a month of heat in Georgia, we go from winter to spring in about a week. And
we're there. I had to turn on my air for the first time. We went from heat 2 days ago to
sweatshirts
now air
to shorts in like a matter of a week.
Come on, Mother Nature.
And it's going to be less than a month before it's summertime.
Yeah. Yeah, so, that's right. By the end of April, get ready.
It'll be hot.
Yeah,
it's already hot. It's already hot. It was too hot today for a T-shirt.
Yeah. Another thing that's going on out there is there are zoos that are doing virtual field trips for people, showing people about all sorts of fun stuff. Oh, fun thing. True Facts. Have you ever seen this? My cousin. Why would I say that? Our cousin introduced me to that while I was up in D.C. with him a couple weeks ago. And
True Facts.
If you're an adult,
a little redundant.
If you're an adult and listen to the show, maybe go check it out. It's worth a laugh at least. In these times, might as well consume things that are funny. It's nature based. Kind of starts out like you're watching a what was the old guy, Marty? Was it Marty Stouthammer from National Geographic?
Oh God!
Oh, and
I don't remember those names.
You remember when you were like, oh sweet, there's a National Geographic on. They're talking about lions or bears or something, right? Like that was him, and he had this giant beard. Looked like he should have been in a wood shop somewhere. Anyway, yeah, they
True Facts.
True Facts. It starts out like that, but then it takes a weird turn. Still factual, but funny. And very adult. It's hysterical.
Like
stuff.
Jack Hamby.
Yeah, kind of like that. It's really pretty good stuff. There are Facebook pages now that are also popping up to help elderly people, right? Like when we talk about who's really in that real special zone of, hey, maybe don't go near these people, and they're a little more fragile. Let's take care of them, right? They don't need to have human interaction inside and out and like in first person. What can we do for them? So in our neighborhood, even
mow the grass.
People are like, hey, listen, what do you guys need? You need us to mow your grass? You need us to drop stuff off? You need us to go to the store for you? Yeah. Whatever you need. Yeah. Facebook pages is like, Snowpocalypse when people are like, hey, where are you? You can come here for some hot chocolate. Yeah. Like it's things like that. Yep. What can we do to help you? Can we go get your meds for you? Can we go and do X, Y, and Z? Whatever it is, more people solving people problems.
Yep.
Not government. No force.
Depend on your neighbor.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're not going into debt doing it, and maybe they are. Who cares? It
doesn't matter.
It's a personal choice. It's consensual. let's see. Restaurants are donating a lot of the food that they have on hand that's going to expire.
Good job.
Right? Yeah. Free food's cool.
Yep.
Right? Especially if it's going to expire. And that's the thing is, you look at America, right? And I'm going to beat up these bastards in the bureaucracy for a moment again. Can you feed homeless everywhere in America?
Nope.
No. Why?
It's illegal.
Why?
Because government's stupid as shit. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. You nailed it. It's the damn government. And I mean, I told my kids this. Yeah. You can't feed, like, you will get arrested in certain places if you try to feed homeless people.
Yep.
How evil is that, man?
It is the slime of...
Oh, it's primordial ooze.
Yep.
Only worse, right?
Yeah.
Because instead of giving life, you're taking it away.
Yeah, from somebody who drives through Atlanta a lot in surrounding areas, most people would never know how many homeless people there are in Georgia. There are a ton.
Well, it's a good climate.
Yeah, it is.
You don't have to. It's
not LA.
You have to build snow bunkers and all that. Yeah,
it rains a lot here.
It's not LA, and it's not LA.
You have to pay $35 for a cheeseburger either.
That's right. As if you can find them now.
Right.
Oh, man. My heart goes out to you guys in California right now. Commie stand.
There are a ton of people that are homeless in Georgia.
Yeah.
There really are. Like,
go feed the hell out of them now that there's not any government getting in the way.
Well, I was going to say this to you. I drove down 285 East. It doesn't matter. It's 285. It's a circle for those of you who don't live in Georgia. 285 is a perimeter around Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And for the first time in probably my life, I did over 65 miles an hour for a stretch of I don't know how long in the morning. Is that better?
You did over 65 miles an hour in Atlanta?
Yeah.
Oh, on
285
You're
especially.
a maniac.
No, but it was open. So thanks, Corona. You did something good.
Try to miss those damn potholes while being observed by all the surveillance cameras that are up there.
It's not mine. I don't care. Sorry. I don't care. It is what it is.
Don't care.
285 is bumping.
It is. Yeah. There's definitely way less traffic. Hey, and here's the other thing is if this model is sustainable, where kids don't have to go in and parents don't have to go in and people don't have to go in and they can work from home and do things like this in this day and age, this is
we can have 6 million other people here.
This is fun, right? Let's think about this. What are we always told by all these, I don't know, chicken littles? I'm just going to call them chicken littles. The sky's falling, right? The sky's falling because of technology. Technology is going to come and take your jobs. Can we dispel this one right now?
You still need people to work on those machines. You still need people to do.
What does technology do? Technology
should make your life easier.
Well, not only does it make life easier, but it also removes human toil, right? Like it more efficiently uses capital and savings, and therefore frees life up. Now, at the same time, what else does it do? Technology creates entire industry.
Correct.
And that's the thing is people who have never owned a business, never, worked in the front end, business development, sales, at the administration level where you got to do all the stupid paperwork to comply with all the bureaucratic nonsense. That part we don't need anymore. Now, operations, engineering, production, like all of those things get better with technology, and every time you introduce a new piece of technology into that stream, I don't care if it's a computer on the front end, or a machine that's computerized on the back end, right? Everybody's like, oh, technology is going to replace a lot of human beings. Well, guess what? That technology is going to need a lot of human beings to exist.
Right.
Because let's face it, computers don't always run smoothly.
They break.
So do machines. I mean, have you guys ever seen Gold Rush? Golly, Meredith used to say they might as well just rename this show "Watch Us Fix Our," right? Like that. There's no truer statement.
Right.
But the thing is because of that technology, they can dig deeper, they can dig faster, they can extract more gold from the ground. In this case, with technology, you're creating more and more industry, and if people don't have to go as far to communicate, to work, to get jobs done, if you're not actually at a factory,
It's efficient.
That's
Imagine that.
amazing.
Yeah.
This whole myth that's built around, like, I don't know. I used to listen to this guy, and God rest him, man, Doc Thompson. He used to talk about, like the keeping, signing waivers and stuff to keep the lamplighters and the milkmen around, right? Like, how, like, that's
It's nonsensical.
When you look in history and you go, no, what this is an evolutionary moment where we have a golden opportunity to change the society to the way we've always wanted it, for more freedom, for more liberty, for more time that is now freed up, right? Because let's face it, there are guys like me that don't have to travel all the time, right? Like if I don't have to travel,
great,
cool, I get to be at home.
Yep.
And that's more time for me to be with my family. I mentioned this the other night. You gave me a statistic not very long ago where you were telling me about the percentage of time that you get to spend with your kids.
Jelly beans.
Tell me the number again.
I don't remember the number.
Was it 10%?
It's
maybe.
It's probably not even.
Not even.
Yeah.
I want to reiterate this to you guys. You got a moment in time right now. Maybe it goes our way. Maybe we have to do more of this, and we decentralize and we find a different currency, and we get to spend more time with our families if we're lucky and if we're willing to fight for it. You get to spend about 8%, maybe 8 to 10% of your life
free time
with your kids.
Yeah.
Maybe.
If you're lucky and you have a good schedule.
Yeah. And you're not divorced. You don't live in separate homes. You're not traveling around the world. Like, all that kind of stuff. That is a staggering statistic for me. And the opportunity to help people get more of that through tech, through changing, through evolving, through becoming a better species on this silly rock that's spinning through space.
With no top.
What an amazing prospect that we have before us. I don't know, man. Part of me's scared out of my damn mind about this economic crash, and the other part of me is going, man, this might be the best damn thing that ever happened to this world.
Yeah. I think the latter probably.
Oh, man. I don't know, man. We're sitting at about 115. I know you were talking about before the show when I gave you this pencil to write something down over there that you wanted to talk about that maybe wasn't even Corona based. And before we get out of here, I definitely want to give you whatever time you want to talk about that. Where we can shoot the breeze because we got time.
I can kind of tie it in nicely to what you were just talking about. When you were talking about, you need to have this so you can have that. You need to have these government jobs need to be sustained, because if we don't have people, arresting, this has always been a huge point with me. The drug war is absolutely ridiculous. And
they lost it to drugs.
Yeah.
Drugs won.
Yay, drugs. Personal sovereignty trumps everything. And
say it again for people. Personal sovereignty. What's personal sovereignty for the new listeners?
You own yourself, and you own everything that comes from yourself.
Life, liberty, and property.
That's exactly right.
That's right.
You don't own somebody, and you don't own what they make. If you do something, you own it, and personal sovereignty trumps everything.
So if you grow a plant in your yard, it's yours?
Yeah.
What?
Or your wife's.
Yeah, it's your wife's.
But if it's not hurting anybody and it's not doing any damage, leave people alone. Mind your damn business. And it really does stem from that. It's one of those things where if you can't understand that, we got no point in talking to somebody. But I heard this on one of Brent Harvey's documentaries, but the guy said it perfectly. He's like, giving cops jobs, nothing against cops, but if you give cops jobs for this, or hang on to cops jobs because you need people to police people for doing otherwise non-criminal activities. Mm-hmm. They're not hurting anybody. They're not doing anything. They're sitting at home.
Fantasy crime is what we call it here on the Rebellion.
Hannibal Buress named it perfectly. It's a fantasy crime.
Hannibal Buress, people. Go out and look up YouTube fantasy crime for a good laugh. Yeah. It is hysterical.
It is awesome. And he puts it perfectly. But if you're going to keep cops around for the simple fact that 80% of their revenue comes from pulling people over that have drugs, use drugs, and I use the term drugs very loosely. If you're going to have cops around to harass people for cannabis, not pot, not weed, not
cannabis. It's a technical name. It's not a slur that the government came up with to scare people.
Right.
Yeah.
Marijuana is the N-word of cannabis.
That's right.
Stop using it. Stop using the word marijuana. I'm going to get off my soapbox, but what I'm saying is this. If there's no fantasy crime to be enacted, then we have this group of people that don't have jobs. Oh, no. You have to go do something other than arrest people for crimes that they haven't committed.
Like real crime.
Real crime.
Yeah. Murder, rape, assault, coercion, kidnapping.
We can go back to the Barney Fife cop. It's okay.
Yeah.
It would be amazing.
Stop wearing those silly bulletproof vests.
I don't care if you wear a bulletproof vest. But
if you're going to get somebody dangerous, go ahead and slap one on. But for the most part, hey, that guy's a peacekeeper, man.
Here's what I noticed, and this is just from time driving around. Just stuff that my brain has noticed. There's a lot of really, really, really black cop cars. There's a lot of really blacked out cop cars. Hey, Duluth, Doraville,
Marietta.
Yeah, all of these. Dunwoody's got nice white cars, but it's one of those things where if you're a public service, right? If you're really out there to do some good, if you're really out there to do something that's beneficial for the people, you ought to be easily recognized. You ought to be hot pink or yellow
with reflected paint.
You're damn Skippy. I'm so sick and tired of watching a black cop car roll up behind me with blacked out, in a roll cage and
blacked out windows that won't pass their own stupid tests.
Right, exactly my point. If you're a cop or a sheriff,
especially a sheriff. If you're a sheriff out there, do something about this. Make your cop cars easily recognizable. Make them bright. Make them cheerful. Make them. And I'm not saying like you got to paint flowers on the damn thing. Make them. That'd be great.
Make them. What difference would it make other than, hey, when I get pulled over, I'm a big guy. You're a big guy, 6 foot, 200, and I'm 200 plus.
Don't you tell anybody how much I weigh. No.
I'm a big guy. When a cop pulls me over to this day, I still don't feel at ease.
Damn right.
Because I know that A, there's a gun in the car, and B, I don't know who you are. I know that you're a cop or a sheriff or...
We don't know who it is anymore. I'll tell you right now.
I don't feel at ease. And I am very respectful. I turn my car...
Do you get pulled over a lot?
Well, when I do. No, I don't. But when I do, I turn the car off. If it's at nighttime, I put my dome light on. I put my hand on the wheel. I roll down the window. I put my other arm out. I am very respectful to law enforcement. But that being said, when you roll up behind me in a dark, blacked out, murdered out cop car, you are trying to instill fear in whoever you're pulling over, and you're successful because that is what you want. And as a sheriff department or a cop unit, you need to be on the other end of that. So if you are somebody who has control over something like that, white, yellow, or what, I think your cop cars ought to be glowing yellow. I think everybody ought to be able to see them for 100 miles away.
Well, look at Europe, man. And this is the
they look like taxi cabs.
Yeah, well, and even worse. I mean, they're obnoxious.
Yeah, they should be.
The only thing obnoxious about the cars here in terms of the fantasy crime cars that the sheriffs employ around here, the only thing obnoxious about them are the lights when they're on the side of the road
at night.
You remember, like, I mean, when you see it now, it hurts your eyes.
Yeah, it's distracting.
It's distracting to what you're doing. It
F's up traffic.
Yeah, man. You remember, like, the old, like, just the ones that spun around. Like, you're like, hey, there's a guy over there. Let's
not hit him.
Let's not hit him. Now it's like, oh, I'm trying not to have a damn seizure. Somebody put my wallet in my mouth. Like, I'm serious,
right,
man.
I know.
But hey, no, yeah, I'm going to double down. And hey, if you're a sheriff here to this audience, contact your damn sheriffs. I know this isn't the first time I've said this on the show. Tell them now, right now, and start asking them, provoke them. Put these questions to them, because you're about to see something in America that hasn't happened in most of our lifetimes, and maybe worse than what happened in the 1930s. When this all does come crashing down, and you guys still have jobs out there, while the rest of everybody is trying to clean up the pieces, and you're living off of government, I'm going to say people who have had money extracted from them by force, and maybe your department. If you are the guys that are out there that aren't doing good in your neighborhood, I'll tell you right now, that's going to go south real damn quick. You need to start asking these sheriffs out there, first and foremost, are you going to enforce any unconstitutional laws, including red flag laws, including, forced vaccinations? This is... And I'm serious. Yeah. Forced vaccinations. Will you ever enforce this in this area? And secondly, will you absolutely, unequivocally stand up to the federal government if they try to do this to your citizens? If you're not asking your sheriffs this question now, you're behind.
Yep.
You got an election coming up this year in 2020. Get a sheriff who will stand up to the state and to the feds and say, not on my watch, I will deputize every man, woman, and child in my damn county and make sure that you do not come in here and wreak havoc on my population and on my citizens, on my neighbors. Like, that's the sheriff that I want during this time, man.
Yep.
Yeah, change your damn cop cars while you're at it.
Most of ours are white.
I don't care if you have black cop cars. Go out there and get some reflective tape and put it on as a protest, as a good deputy, as a good sheriff. That will. I'm all about solutions. You can go get reflective tape for damn near nothing.
Yep.
Instead of having the murdered out paint with the flat paint to distinguish.
That's the most ridiculous.
Somehow, that is some type of law enforcement vehicle. Start throwing day glow type tape on there so that we know you're probably one of the good guys.
Yep.
In protest. I would love to see that. I'll tell you right now, we still got a few more minutes at least. One of the greatest things I'm starting to hear out of this whole thing, no more tax. No more income tax. No more payroll tax.
Woo!
Yeah. None of this crapple of tax. Like, taxation is theft. And some people say for the next year, for the next 2 years, for the next 3. No.
Just do it like they did it.
Just don't replace it.
Don't replace.
Get rid of it. This moment in time, this moment for what I'm going to call DC exit, right? Like Brexit and anything else that we've ever exited from, we have an opportunity to throw off this cancer that is the federal bureaucracy here in America. You don't need taxes, people. You don't. All it does is inspire government. What you need to do is act like like these people, these amazing people that we've talked about on the show, through charity.
Yep.
What is charity like? But the thing is, to receive charity, you're probably going to have to be a worthwhile person. If you're not, and you're a scumbag, well, guess what? This whole natural selection that the whole left likes to hold up, and this idea of like, hey, listen, only the strongest are certain. Well, that's going to come back and bite you in the ass, right? You better be a good person. But yeah, no, this tax moratorium needs to be permanent.
Let it roll.
I've said it once. If I've said it a million times, government only exists, ladies and gents, to rob you at gunpoint, threat of coerce, in distress of your life, your liberty, and your property. The less of government that we absolutely have is a win
Awesome.
for humanity.
Yep.
I always talk about being the change that we're seeking. Figure out new ways. And I want to present one to you guys. I was up in my room having some thought experiments last night and told Meredith I'm going to start this charity. I'm going to start a charity, Brett, because I've already had people come to me. For those of you guys who don't know, I've shot some guns in my life, and I'm not going to say I'm a weapons expert. I'm not going to say I know how to handle some firearms. All right?
He's a weapons expert. I'll say it. Anyway,
friends, family, acquaintances are asking about firearms purchases, and a really dear friend asked me last night, "Hey man, you think I can borrow a gun?" And I was like, "Hey, I'll give you a gun. First, you have to come train with me." Sparked an idea. I'm telling you, man, I'm full of this kind of stuff.
That's a good one.
I'm full of charity. Ladies and gents, because I have this amazing studio and I have this equipment that I'm expanding all the time, I think I'm going to start this charity where if you want a gun, you want to buy your first gun, I will give it to you. I'm going to record it. I want to know your story. I want to know why you want a gun. I want to know why you want whatever specific type of firearm you're thinking about. I want you to tell me and tell the story behind why you're choosing to defend yourself and exercise your right of self-preservation. And this is how I plan to do it. I'm going to invite people from especially the economy that I live in, the Georgia economy. My buddy like Pat K down at Daniel Defense. Hey man, you guys want in on this? Guys over at Glock, you want in on this?
There you go.
You want to help me give guns to people and tell them and tell their stories and their words why they want your guns. You got to come train with me. You got to learn the firearms rules. You got to prove to me that you can secure this thing, and you got to prove to me that you can employ it in a responsible manner. This is what charity is.
That's awesome.
And this day and age where we are going into uncertain times, there are going to be more and more people going out there who want to protect themselves, their family, and their property, and they have every damn right to do so. They also have the responsibility to do it in a responsible way.
Right.
And if I can help them do it, I'll do it. So, who wants in? Daniel Defense? Glock?
Bushmaster.
I mean, all of you guys.
Smith & Wesson. Bring it.
Christensen Arms. I don't care who you are. If you want in, I'm going to do this. I'm going to start giving away guns. But I'm going to do it in a responsible manner where people get to see, people get to hear people in their own words on why they're choosing this type of lifestyle. I can't wait to do stuff like this. And I'm full of these kind of ideas. Absolutely full of them. This is the type
I like that.
of things that we need to do as a society, as individuals, to put our economy together in a Austrian way, not a Keynesian way, which is based on savings and charity and helping your fellow man without the threat of force and coercion by a government. Yeah?
It's beautiful.
Boy, I get all worked up about this kind of stuff, Bertie. Anyway, we got about a few minutes left. I want to thank you for coming in and do this with me, man. This is always fun.
Yeah.
And I imagine you guys are going to be seeing a lot more Brett here in the very near future with the economic impending collapse. and
don't come to my house.
Not because of disease and all that other kind of stuff, but obviously, Banks down on the road with Matt Gertler. They're doing some amazing things up in Northeast Georgia. Wish them all the luck in the world. Keep hammering it out. We'll hold down the fort here at the Rebellion. Brett, you got anything else before we wrap this sucker up? Nice little bow. Happy birthday.
Stay easy, people.
Stay nice too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. It's what it's all about.
You can send me anything you want concerning the campaign at shane@shanehazel.com. You can send anything to the Rebellion at info@rebellionpod.com. If you love this show, go out there and leave us a 5-star review. I know you're home. I know you're listening. You probably consume 5 episodes a day. I just ask that you go out there. You don't even have to leave a review. Just hit 5 stars. That's all I ask for. Or go in there and leave us a review. I'll read it right here on the Rebellion. On top of that, if you like this so much and you do have extra money right now and you want to throw it at this show to help us reach more and more people or start this charity, you can go to patreon.com/rebellionpod. And that's it, ladies and gents. I am spent. This was a great conversation. I love having you here, Bertie. And for the rest of you guys, be safe out there. Love each other and help each other. And thank you guys for tuning in. All you guys have been here forever. Everybody who's tuning in that is interested in this guy that's preaching liberty, man. We say it all the time. This is your place for peace, liberty, free markets. We love you. We need you.
Peace.
Don't hurt people and don't take their stuff.